Welcome back to Transaction Care. My name is Lillian Hernandez, but you can call me Lily, and we're going to discuss patience in this video. And before you scroll out, close out this window, or stop watching, please don't, because I need you to subscribe first and foremost, as well as visit transactioncare.com, where all other information exists for coaching, products and services, all that good stuff. But let's get into patience, because I showed this in my last video that I have a sign next to my desk, because they always say patience is a virtue, right? Which I would always say, and I always coined myself as this patient person, someone that was willing to endure and suffer, and I think that's where I got it wrong. I think that's where I got patience wrong, was my ability to just stay quiet for long periods of time, even when things were bothering me, or I thought patience was suffering in silence. Yeah, blink twice if you agree. And sometimes that suffering in silence, I would hope, doesn't last for long periods of time. And I hope you watching this video kind of shakes things up a little bit. But I feel like even in my personal life and my business life, I took on jobs and I associated myself with certain people that didn't necessarily align with me, but I just couldn't pinpoint why they didn't align with me. Or, even in my personal life, man, I love these people, but we just are not clicking. They keep talking about me, or we're just not getting along. I don't get it. And it wasn't until I really started to uncover, who am I at my core at this big age of, when I was in my late 30s and now my early 40s, I started to challenge myself at my core and who I was as a business person, and why my personal life is impacting that. And I broke down my transition from a 9-to-5 into being a business owner. And I didn't really have that point in my career where someone sat me down and they were like, all right, you own a business now, you're self-employed, it's all on you, and this is how you do it. Step 1, step 2, step 3, keep it going. I didn't have that instructor or that coach, walking me through things or challenging me even. I took a lot of my old mindsets from my 9-to-5, or even my old mindsets that were from college and high school, into my first 9-to-5 that I had for 15 years, then into solopreneurship, entrepreneurship, self-employment. And I realized, whoa, I have been enduring something that was leaving me unfulfilled, unsatisfied. And although I'm helping others, I'm doing my job, I'm getting paid, I'm doing my job, I'm a good person, I'm loyal, but I still feel like I'm just getting the short end of the stick at the end of the day. And I thought, well, I'm patient, I'm going through it, but I wasn't looking at it from a perspective of, okay, I still feel like I'm on this hamster wheel, but I'm doing nothing to get off of it. I was waiting for someone to grab my hand and get me off of it, thinking that I'm being patient. And it wasn't until I stopped the wheel completely. I had to stand there for a little bit before I actually got off, because decades and decades of having the same mindset and being stuck in my ways still prevented me from getting off of the wheel. Although I stopped it, I was still weary in terms of getting off. But then once I got off and I felt free, like, hold up, wait a minute. I could have got off this thing this entire time. Made me realize, wow, I had this all wrong. I got some things right, but I got a lot wrong. And in this new season of my life, I don't want to go through that ever again. So now insert impatience is when I finally got off of the hamster wheel and I realized I want to do everything all at once and not let anyone stop me, not let anyone trick me into staying any longer, or to not expanding my wings and going, helping other people. Because I've experienced that too, where people were like, don't work for anyone else. You can only work for me. When it's like, I should have took those as signals, like, you are talented, you are skilled, do something with this. But I just didn't have the business acumen. I didn't have the confidence in myself, or even the belief or the faith, let alone the ability to just take that leap at those times. But I gathered all of that information throughout my years of experience in the workforce, whether it was a side hustle, part-time job, full-time job. It didn't matter what it was, a paid gig, an unpaid gig. I took all of that and put it together and started to really regrow my business from a different perspective. And this didn't happen until maybe, I would say, 3-5 years into being in business. And I quit my job in 2018. So I went a few years with these old mindsets and just feeling stuck, not knowing which way or which direction to go. And I grew impatient because now I got a real taste of what freedom looks like, away from the rat race, away from that being on that hamster wheel. And now I felt like I had to make up for lost time. And I started to become more impulsive. I started to make decisions that didn't make sense. I started to take on too many things. Go watch my other check-in vlog where I talked about all these things on this list that I found from 2022. But I started to make all these long lists. I even looked in my notes app, my Google Docs app, notebooks of just ideas and ideas and ideas, but them never panning out because I never believed in having a plan or having systems. I was just freestyling it all because now I have all this freedom and free will that I'm aware of, that if I feel like doing it, I'm gonna just do it. But I was so impatient that I was starting projects, not finishing them, starting YouTube channels, not following through on a weekly basis, post for 30 days thinking it's gonna take off, I'm gonna go viral in 30 days. I don't need this job, I don't need to TC anymore, I don't need to do any of this stuff, YouTube's gonna save me. And then when it didn't happen, I get so discouraged, I would just and just crash out and be so disappointed, and I would just harbor all this anger and disappointment and resentment for all of the work that I was doing, that I couldn't even find what gratitude was, or discipline, or what patience looked like, because I couldn't stand it. I just wanted to be at the finish line. I wanted to be I'm buying a new house, I got a new car, I'm making hundreds and thousands of dollars a year, monthly. I just wanted to get there so bad that I didn't even realize I was self-sabotaging myself. So in the year 2025 and on, I had to approach patience from a different lens. I had to approach business. I had to approach business and my personal life from a redefined perspective of what patience meant. And the reason I keep this at my desk is because every time I felt myself slipping up, or about to make a mistake, or about to be impulsive, or constantly pray and plea and cry, like, why is this happening? Why, how, I need it to happen now. The bills are late. I'm not making any money right now. What do I do? And it was just seeing this word that brought a different sense of calm for me. And it reminded me, it was a reference tool to remind me of all those moments that my prayers were answered, where new clients just popped up out of nowhere, where I got to just spend quality time with family and friends and travel in those seasons when it was quiet and I was required to be still, and finding the real blessings behind the nothing, that there's still work being done on my behalf, even behind the scenes, whether I realize it or not. And I have, this sign here to remind me of those times, like, okay, patience, because back in December of 2024, I was down in the dumps. I had cleared out all of my savings accounts. I had nothing. So a year ago today, I am thriving. I am successful. I'm all these things. Or maybe I'm the complete opposite. Maybe it got worse because I wasn't patient. I'm still, maybe there's something I still have to learn. I don't know. But what I do know is that having words around me, like do the work, patience, just are triggers to take me back to a place, a better and more positive mindset that doesn't keep me in that state of despair or victim mentality or that scarcity mindset for too long. I'm human. I'm still going to struggle. I'm still going to cry. I'm still going to complain. But having these reminders and knowing, what my word of the year is, that has kept me grounded and in check and humbles me to the core. Like, yo, you've been through worse. And even if this is the worst you've ever been through, you're going to be okay. Consider and remember the opportunities, plain and simple, of what can come. Be still and just wait it out. Wait it out with a good heart, with gratitude. Whereas before, I was waiting it out, expecting others to save me constantly. But knowing that is going to save me, God is going to save me, I just need to do my part. And remember that although I do have free will, oftentimes my impulsivities are not where that freedom will often live and should reside. But ultimately, it comes down to just, okay, my dreams are big. My dreams are vast. I'm thinking longevity. So if I'm constantly seeking instant gratification, I'm always going to be disappointed. A little bit of instant gratification doesn't hurt. Some signs like, okay, I'm on the right track. Checks off of the checklist, the little dopamine hits. Those are fun. But it's the bigger milestones that I envision or that I feel are meant for me that I'm willing to just endure versus living out someone else's dream or working for someone else's dream and enduring that to go nowhere. Whereas now my why, my reasons, my sense of purpose is in alignment with who I'm meant to be and where I'm meant to go. So that makes patience a lot more beneficial. That makes patience a lot more enjoyable. That makes patience a lot more realistic. So that's all I got for now. I hope you got some value for that. Thank you for listening this far, if you made it this far in the video. Because you can learn a lot in a short time period about yourself when you reframe and challenge old norms and patterns and narratives that have been seeped into you for decades and years, since your youth, since young adulthood. You just don't realize that how much they impact you until you stop and say, wait a minute, do I still believe in that? I used to love the color red. Then I started to love the color blue. I started to listen to different types of music. I used to listen to music all the time instead of podcasts. It's okay to challenge yourself and change your ways, even if it is something as small as, a haircut or a color you wear, or the friends in your life, the community that you build. Give yourself a chance. And I feel like life will reward you in some way, shape, or form, and is always going to work into your, to your benefit. So that's all I got. Thank you again for watching. But yeah, patience. And if you made it to the 14-minute mark of this video, thank you for your patience and your time. My name is Lillian Hernandez, but you can call me Lily, and this is Transaction Care. Until the next one, care for yourself, care for your wealth. Your time is worth it. Let's coordinate. Talk soon. And don't forget, more real estate, business, and mindset content here. Double tap my smiley face if you haven't already done so to subscribe.